Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely misunderstood, like your words just bounced off the walls and disappeared into nothing? You've tried speaking more clearly, choosing better words, even rehearsing important conversations in your head. But somehow the disconnect remains like an invisible barrier. Today, I'm going to share the story of a man who couldn't connect with anyone until he learned 3 simple words that changed everything. Stay until the end, because the method I reveal will transform how people hear you, starting with your very next conversation tomorrow. His name is Marcus Rodriguez, 29 years old, a software engineer living in Austin, working in a glass office building that reflects the Texas sun. Every morning at 6:15, Marcus wakes to the sound of his alarm, already dreading the conversations that lie ahead in his day. He makes coffee in his small apartment kitchen, rehearsing what he'll say in today's stand-up meeting, trying to find the perfect words. By 8:30, Marcus walks into the conference room for stand-up meetings, his palms already sweating against his coffee cup, his throat tight. He explains his progress on the project, watches his manager's face glaze over with confusion, and feels that familiar sinking sensation in his chest. His words come out too fast, jumping from point to point without landing anywhere, leaving his colleagues nodding politely while understanding absolutely nothing. Marcus sits back down, his heart racing, knowing he just wasted 5 minutes saying everything and communicating absolutely nothing of substance or value. The same thing happens in client calls, in hallway conversations, in every interaction where his ideas somehow get lost between his brain and other people's understanding. At lunch, his girlfriend, Emma, mentions how he never seems to really listen, how conversations with him feel like talking to someone underwater. "You hear me, but you don't actually hear me, you know?" she says across the table, frustration and sadness mixing in her brown eyes. Marcus feels defensive, wants to explain that he does care, but even his explanation comes out wrong, making things worse instead of better. He watches Emma's face close off, sees her retreat into herself, and realizes he's doing it again, failing at the most basic human connection. Marcus has tried being more assertive, speaking louder, using business jargon, even taking a public speaking course that cost him $400 last year. He's read books on communication, watched TED Talks, practiced in front of mirrors, but nothing changes the fundamental problem he can't seem to fix. The problem isn't volume or vocabulary. It's something deeper that Marcus can't quite identify or name or understand about how he interacts with others. He lies awake on Thursday night, staring at the ceiling fan going around and around, replaying a failed client presentation in his mind. His brilliant ideas somehow got lost in translation between his brain and mouth, leaving the client confused and his boss disappointed in his performance. His own mother told him last Christmas that talking to him feels exhausting, like she has to work too hard to be understood or heard. Those words cut deeper than any professional failure, because they came from the woman who brought him into this world and loves him unconditionally. Marcus realizes with crushing clarity that he's built walls with his words instead of bridges, isolating himself one misunderstood conversation at a time. On a humid Friday afternoon in June, Marcus bombs another presentation, watching his team lead's disappointed expression as the client looks utterly confused. He stumbles through his explanation of the new software feature, sees the client's eyes glaze over exactly like his manager's eyes do every morning. By the time he finishes, everyone in the room looks relieved that it's over, and Marcus feels like he might be sick from the shame. He walks to a nearby park afterward, sitting on a bench under a live oak tree, his laptop bag heavy on his shoulder like failure. The weight of every failed conversation, every misunderstood explanation, every disconnected relationship sits on his chest, making it hard to breathe properly. An older man sits down beside him, maybe 65, with silver glasses and the kind of calm presence that makes the chaos seem quieter. The man is reading a book on communication, and Marcus notices the highlighted passages, the careful notes in the margins written in neat handwriting. Marcus stares at the book, wondering if he should just give up, except that he's fundamentally broken at this most basic human skill. They start talking when Marcus asks about the book, and within 5 minutes he's unloading everything to this stranger named Dr. James Chen. He tells Dr. Chen about Emma, about work, about his mother, about feeling like an alien who doesn't speak the same language as everyone else. "You're not a poor communicator," Dr. Chen says, closing his book and looking directly at Marcus with sharp, knowing eyes that seem to see right through him. "You're just communicating in the wrong order," the old man continues, and Marcus feels something shift in his understanding of his entire problem. Marcus feels defensive at first, wants to argue, but something in the old man's voice makes him lean forward and actually listen for once. Dr. Chen pulls out a small notebook and draws 3 words in large letters. Listen, repeat, respond, each one underlined twice for emphasis. Most people skip straight to responding, Dr. Chen explains, tapping the 3rd word with his pen. But real communication happens in the space between hearing and speaking. Marcus stares at the 3 words, feeling like they're too simple to possibly solve the complex problem that's been ruining his life for years. The system is deceptively simple. First, listen without planning your response, giving full attention for 30 uninterrupted seconds minimum to the other person. Just listen, Dr. Chen emphasizes, not preparing what you'll say, not formulating arguments, not thinking 3 steps ahead to your brilliant solution. Second, repeat back what you heard in your own words, starting with phrases like, "So what you're saying is," or "Let me make sure I understand." This step confirms you actually heard them, Dr. Chen explains, and gives them a chance to correct any misunderstanding before you waste time solving the wrong problem. Third, only after they confirm you understood correctly, then and only then do you respond with your own thoughts, opinions, or solutions. Your brilliant ideas mean nothing if people don't feel heard first, Dr. Chen says, and those words hit Marcus like a punch to the gut. Marcus feels something crack open inside his chest, a recognition that he's been shouting into a void of his own creation for years. He's been so focused on being understood that he never learned to make others feel understood first, and that's been the missing piece all along. He accepts the challenge right there on the park bench, committing to practice this method in every single conversation for the next 30 days straight. Dr. Chen writes his phone number on a piece of paper, tells Marcus to call if he needs support, and Marcus feels hope for the first time in months. Week 1 feels like torture, as Marcus forces himself to stay quiet during his girlfriend's story about work, counting 30 full seconds in his head. His brain screams to interrupt with solutions. His mouth literally aches with the effort of staying closed while every fiber wants to jump in. He practices repeating back, stumbling over the words. "So what you're saying is your boss dismissed your idea, and that felt disrespectful to you." Emma's eyes widen with surprise, something shifting in her expression, and she says, "Yes, exactly that," with a relief that makes Marcus's throat tight. She keeps talking, opening up more than she has in months, and Marcus realizes how much he's been missing by always rushing to fix instead of listening. Week 2, Marcus tries the method in his team meeting, and it feels clumsy and awkward, like learning to walk again after forgetting how. He forces himself to listen to his colleague Sarah's concern about the project timeline, resisting the urge to immediately defend his work or explain. But his colleague Sarah pauses when he repeats her concern back to her, nodding slowly, saying, "You actually get it," with genuine appreciation in her voice. The meeting feels different, more collaborative, and Marcus notices people actually listening to him when he finally does share his thoughts after listening first. By day 23, something remarkable happens during a client call where Marcus focuses entirely on listening instead of performing or impressing anyone. He repeats back their main concern in simple language, waits for confirmation, then responds with a solution that actually addresses what they said. The client says, "Finally, someone who understands what we need." And Marcus feels a breakthrough sensation, like breaking through water into clear air. He calls Dr. Chen that night to share the breakthrough, and the old man laughs warmly, telling him this is just the beginning of the transformation. Month 2 brings a transformation that his colleagues notice, commenting that meetings with Marcus feel different now, more collaborative and less like competing monologues. People start seeking him out for consultations, not because he has all the answers, but because he makes them feel heard before offering solutions. His manager pulls him aside to say that clients have been specifically requesting Marcus for consultations because he makes them feel heard and understood. Marcus realizes the irony that he's becoming known as a great communicator, not by talking better, but by listening better than anyone else. By month 3, Emma tells him over dinner that their conversations feel real now, that she finally has her partner back after years of distance. She cries a little as she says it, and Marcus listens without trying to fix her tears, just holding space for her emotions to exist. Their relationship deepens in ways Marcus never imagined possible, built on the foundation of truly hearing each other instead of just waiting to speak. 1 year later, Marcus leads a team of 12 engineers, known throughout the company as the person who truly listens before speaking or deciding. He's been promoted twice, not because his technical skills improved, but because his ability to connect with people transformed him into a natural leader. He meets Dr. Chen again at the same park bench, and the older man smiles with quiet satisfaction at the transformation he helped catalyze. Communication isn't about being the smartest person in the room, Dr. Chen says, adjusting his silver glasses. It's about making everyone else feel smart enough to share. Marcus thanks him with tears in his eyes, understanding now that this simple method saved not just his career, but his relationships and his sense of self-worth. My friend, here's what most people don't understand about communication. It's not about what you say, it's about what the other person hears. Marcus's transformation didn't come from learning better words or speaking more confidently. It came from changing the order of his listening and responding completely. The listen, repeat, respond method removes ego from conversation and replaces it with genuine connection that people can feel in their bones and remember forever. Here's your 3-step challenge, starting with your very next conversation today. First, when someone speaks, resist every urge to formulate your response immediately. Just listen, truly listen, for a full 30 seconds without planning what you'll say next, without preparing your counter-argument or solution. Second, after they finish, repeat back the core of what you heard using phrases like, "What I'm hearing is," or "Let me see if I understand." Don't just parrot their exact words back to them, but demonstrate that you understood by rephrasing it in your own words with genuine care. Third, Wait for their confirmation that you got it right, and only then share your thoughts, opinions, or solutions to their problem or situation. This sequence matters more than you realize because it transforms you from someone who talks at people to someone who connects with people. If you're committed to transforming how people experience conversations with you, hit that like button right now as your public commitment to this practice. Drop a comment with one relationship where you know you need to listen better, because acknowledging it is the first step toward changing it forever. Share this video with someone who talks a lot but doesn't seem to connect because they need this method more than they know. Remember that question I asked at the beginning about walking away from conversations feeling completely misunderstood and disconnected from everyone around you? The answer isn't speaking more clearly or using better words. It's listening so well that people feel safe enough to be understood completely. Your next conversation is your next opportunity, and the method is simple enough to start right now without any preparation or special skills required.